And now to a deep look inside a growing drug problem right here at home. Tonight, we're going to show you the underground world of do-it-yourself pill making in Minnesota. It's dangerous, it's deadly, and federal authorities say counterfeit drug makers get it wrong all the time. Right now, a Twin Cities man is facing several federal charges for selling fake pills laced with enough fentanyl to kill someone. Only on Nightcast, investigative reporter Ryan Raish found how drug dealers are using commercial-grade pill presses to make tens of thousands of potentially deadly doses.
We started investigating pill presses earlier this year when we noticed several overdoses traced back to counterfeit pills. We asked the DEA to show us how these fake pills are made and why they are even more dangerous than the real ones. But first, we talked to a man who says he nearly died after taking these pills and is now warning others about the dangers. Hey. For Rolando Ruiz, this may be the safest environment he's ever experienced.
I found real quick that drugs were a quick escape.
Ruiz says a simple game offers him a release from his broken childhood that led him down a path of addiction. The 30-year-old was born in prison. He found drugs years later as a young teen, bouncing around foster homes.
The pills turned into heroin, and then the heroin led to the fentanyl. And things kept progressing, and I thought that I had a handle on things, that I was the one that could do this and get away with it. I'm too smart. I'm smarter than other guys.
Overdosing and dying, Ruiz thought was impossible because he knew all the tricks.
You know, it couldn't happen to me because I'm smarter than everybody, and I got it all figured out, and that wasn't the case.
Did you overdose at any point?
Yes, several times. I went to the hospital 6 different times.
The peak of his addiction, or perhaps better described as the bottom, came in the last 3 years. After his supply of legitimate pills dried up, Ruiz started taking counterfeit pills that a friend made using a pill press with fentanyl purchased from China.
How dangerous are pressed pills?
It's literally playing Russian roulette, put a gun in your head every single day. Every single pill, every time you pop it, every line you take, every time you give it away to someone, you're selling death. You're selling, and it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
They can roll the dice one more time, and that's what happens, and of course that's what ultimately leads to death.
Tim Walsh is a counselor at Minnesota Adult and Teen Challenge. He has been working with people in recovery like Ruiz for 35 years. He says pill presses exploded in popularity around 2016.
These are amateurs. This is not like Breaking Bad. These folks don't know chemistry, they don't know how to be a pharmacist, and they don't know how to combine in a safe way. No, none of these folks do.
To get a look at just how risky homemade pills are, our team traveled to Omaha, Nebraska to see an operation up close. Inside the DEA's Omaha Field Division.
In this vial would be what be considered a lethal dose of fentanyl.
Assistant Special Agent in Charge Steve Bell used salt and pepper to demonstrate how difficult it is to properly mix dangerous drugs like fentanyl.
You take a little bit of fentanyl, you know, which isn't a whole lot compared to what, and you mix it all around. And then when you take it out and you put it in contrast, you can see right off the bat that there is no uniformity to what I just did. I sat there and mixed it, and now you have some spots that are heavily contaminated with what we considered fentanyl.
How do these backyard chemists make sure just a few specks are in each pill?
They don't. They get it wrong all the time.
That salt and pepper mixture, which again represents fentanyl in a binding agent, is then poured into a pill press like this one, marked as evidence that was seized during a recent raid. Keep in mind, it only takes 2 milligrams of fentanyl to kill someone. The synthetic opioid is 100 times more potent than morphine.
So now you're pressing that inconsistent substance together into a tablet, and that's why people are overdosing and dying.
There is nothing precise about this operation.
Correct.
So someone who's operating this is just going round and round all day.
This machine could probably do a couple thousand tablets in an hour.
If you're wondering how hard it is to get one of these pill presses, like everything else these days, it's a few clicks away. Owning a pill press is not breaking the law. It only becomes illegal when using a mold to make the pills come out with all the markings of a real Oxycontin or Vicodin. In fact, last year, DeMarlo Hudson of the Twin Cities was indicted for selling counterfeit drugs. A search warrant obtained by 5 Investigates says Hudson was part of a group operating a commercial-grade pill press.
He was accused of showing a tub full of 10,000 pills of counterfeit pills. That's a lot of pills.
That's a huge amount of pills, yes.
Is that really happening? I mean, is that an example of something that is actually happening out there?
Yes, absolutely. And this past year, this office had a 38,000 pill seizure in one particular enforcement. It's extremely possible.
Angela Von Tritek is the assistant special agent in charge of the DEA in Minneapolis. She wouldn't comment on active cases, but says the issue of counterfeit pills is becoming a bigger problem every year. So far, the DEA has seized 4 times the number of fake pills in Minnesota compared to last year.
What's driving the counterfeit pills in Minnesota?
I believe a large part of the counterfeit pill problem in Minnesota, to include the United States, is basically since the medical profession has stopped prescribing the volume of opioids to patients in this country. People that do have issues in that realm have been forced to an underground market, so to speak.
How lucrative can this kind of operation be if someone's doing this in their basement in Minnesota?
Depending on what part of the city you're in, what part of the state you're in, that pill can be as cheap as $30 or as expensive as $100 per pill.
If you do the math, the traffickers and dealers are getting rich. Users are dying. And survivors like Ruiz, who has been clean for more than a year now, are trying to break the cycle.
Everybody has a family that loves them and cares about them, and you're giving them a loaded gun to shoot themselves in the head, basically. You know what I mean? So I encourage people to think about that when they're trading pills and buying and selling them. Like, there's another side that we have to face.
Pill presses are supposed to be registered with the DEA. However, as you may expect, most of these do-it-yourself drug makers are not telling the DEA when they have one of these machines. Last year, several pharmacy trade groups put out a report saying these so-called garage manufacturers have created millions of doses, leading to deaths in at least 30 states. For Nightcast, Ryan Raish, 5 Eyewitness News.
If you have friends or family who you're concerned about, we have this story on our website, kstp.com. Share it with them. Anything purchased on the street, you have no idea what it is. So always a very important reminder.